In the small town of Willow's End, there was a house that looked really old and scary. Everyone in town talked about it but never went inside. My cousin and I wanted to see what was inside, so one day we went in. The house was next to where my aunt lived. It was falling apart and didn't fit in with the nice land around it. The back door was missing, so we just walked into the living room. It was full of dust and looked like no one had been there for a very long time. My cousin was really scared and held my hand tight. I could tell he was afraid, but I wanted to see more. He went up to the stairs super carefully, using a rock to make sure they wouldn't break. At the top, we saw a long hallway that was quiet and felt kinda spooky. There were doors everywhere and it seemed like they had secrets behind them. The first room we went into was strangely clean, with a window that let us see outside. It felt weird because the rest of the house was so old and dirty. The second room was different. The walls were falling apart and the bed looked like it was sinking into the ground. The third room made us stop. I got a cold feeling and it seemed like someone was watching us. My cousin smelled something bad and I felt like we needed to turn around. When I did, I got really scared. In the room that was clean before, there was now a shadowy figure sitting in a wheelchair. It was hard to see, but it looked like a dark ghost. It was just staring at us and we couldn't move. I quickly told my cousin that we had to get out there. A voice in my head said, "Under grass," and it made me feel really scared. We ran out of the house as fast as we could. Outside, we found a cross in the ground that looked new. It was like a sign that something was buried there. My cousin always liked to be clean, so he wore gloves and I was happy he did. I picked up the cross and we went back to where my family was. My uncle decided to dig where the cross was. He found a box with a cat wrapped in a pink blanket. It was sad because it looked like someone cared about the cat a lot. The house with the clean room and the ghost in the wheelchair stayed a mystery. We never went back, but we always remembered that day. It became a scary story we would never forget. Years later, I went back to Willow's End. The old house was gone, and now there was a garden where people remembered those who were gone. The story of the house became a lesson about being brave and the mysteries that are all around us. My cousin and I grew up, but we always remember the adventure we had in that spooky house in Willow's End. The garden was peaceful, with flowers blooming and birds singing. It was hard to believe that this was the same place where the old house stood. People said the garden was haunted, but I didn't feel scared anymore. I felt the spirits were at rest, and the garden was a place of memories, both good and bad. As I stood there, I thought about how the was had taught us about fear and bravery. It showed us that there are things in this world that we can't explain, and sometimes those things can be right in front of us, hidden in plain sight. The garden was a reminder of the stories and memories that shape a town and its people, and how even the scariest stories can have a peaceful ending. One rainy night, I played a game called Red Door, Yellow Door with my friend. We were sitting on my bed, and she kept saying red door, yellow door, white door over and over. I closed my eyes and tried to see doors in my mind. Suddenly, I saw a dark hallway with 3 doors, a brown one on my right, a yellow one in front, and a red one on my left. I told my friend about the doors, and she asked which one I wanted to open. I chose the brown door. When I opened it, everything was black at first. Then far away, I saw a bench with a street light and a man sitting there. He wore a long wizard hat and normal clothes, but he looked sad and worried. I felt very scared and closed the door quickly. I didn't want to tell my friend what I saw because it made me feel too scared. But she asked me to tell her, so I did. Then I tried the yellow and red doors, but there was nothing behind them. My friend asked me to turn around, and I saw the dark hallway again. It split into two paths, left and right. A light was shining only on the right path. The left side was completely dark, and I was too scared to go left, so I chose the right path. As I walked, I saw a tall man standing there. He wore a gray hoodie and jeans. His hands were clenched like he was angry. I couldn't see his face, but I knew he was not the same man as before and he wanted to hurt me. I told my friend and she said to leave. I turned around to run away, but I felt the man was right beside me. I was so scared that I opened my eyes and the game ended. My friend said my eyes were moving fast while I was playing. When I woke up, I started crying. It was just a game, but it felt too real and scary. In a tiny village, surrounded by fields and forests, I had a secret friend named Lisa. She wasn't like any other friend. She was invisible to everyone but me. My mom and grandma never believed she was real. In my country, having an invisible friend was very unusual. Lisa was the prettiest person I'd ever seen. She had skin as pale as the moon, lips as red as cherries, hair as dark as midnight, and eyes as green as fresh grass. She was always there for me, especially when other kids stayed away because I was often sick. But something strange happened as I got older. Lisa started to change. She aged really fast. In just a few years, she went from looking like a young woman to an old lady. Even though she looked different, she was still kind to me. One cold winter, when I was 8 years old, Lisa told me to do something scary. We lived in an old village where we used fires to keep our homes warm. Lisa whispered to me, "Take the burning wood from the furnace and put it on the carpet." I didn't know why, but I listened to her. I took a piece of wood that was all lit up with fire and placed it on the carpet. Flames started to spread quickly, growing bigger and brighter. I wasn't afraid at all. In fact, I felt a thrill watching the fire dance across the room. Suddenly, my mom rushed in, her face filled with fear. She quickly put out the fire and was very angry with me. I got in a lot of trouble for starting the fire. Years have passed and I haven't seen Lisa since I moved far away to the UK. But I often think about her and the mysterious things she made me do. Sometimes, I wonder if she was just a part of my imagination or if she was something more, something from the shadows of the old village. The memory of Lisa still haunts me. At night, when the wind whispers through the trees, I can almost hear her voice calling me to play another dangerous game. I remember the way she aged so quickly, her once beautiful face becoming wrinkled and tired, and I can't forget the fire, how it seemed to listen to her as if she had control over it. Now as I sit here, far from the village, can't help but feel that Lisa is still with me, watching from a place I can't see. The thought sends shivers down my spine. Was she a ghost, a spirit of the village, or just a lonely boy's creation? I may never know, but the mystery of Lisa, the invisible friend who loved fire, will always be a part of my story. How do you think these eerie mysteries connect? Share it with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fear Flicks for more videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you at the next one.